Hello ladies and gentlemen, as always I'm your host Airsoft Al, and today we are taking a look at Freedom Rings, chapters 6 through 7. Now, you're probably saying, why only 2 chapters? Well, the biggest reason is because these chapters are over 30,000 goddamn words. So, because these chapters are done by our good friend Francis...
Looking good, Francis.
I will never stop using the Deadpool clip. I don't care how many of you are going to try and get me to stop it. Whenever I use his name, which he has approved of, mind you, I'm using the Deadpool clip. Now, Francis...
Looking good, Francis.
is known to actually make some very good, high-quality stories. And while he may claim that Freedom Rings is not his best work, I disagree. Much like with Wambag and his story, thus The Bear of the West Roam There, which is his Kaiserreich, Pacific States of America story, I will have to say, and of course disagree, that no, this is not their best work. In fact, it is their good work. It's their great work. It's not their best, it's good though. It's not mediocre, it's not horrible. In reality, it's very enjoyable still to read. So, the question is, what happens in chapters 6 and 7 of Freedom Rings? A lot, actually, and a lot of world building as well. Besides, of course, the obvious stuff that happens in the earlier parts of Chapter 6, let's put that on the back burner. What's going on right now in Chapter 6 is more or less just learning about the world they're in. Especially what happens. Scientific research is being handled. There are, of course, reporters being handled. There is a lot of stuff happening in this chapter alone, and I'm trying to condense this down as best as possible. So let's go ahead and cover the what we have with the 104th. The 104th is still being trained on, of course, their modified Garands, M107 anti-material rifles. I may have said that wrong. Basically, 50 caliber BMG anti-material. Fuck you, freedom-bringing rifles. And even on I believe it's the 115s. I believe is what they're using, canon-wise, but I may be wrong. But there is a lot going on in this chapter that is actually really cool. Not only are the warriors, of course, from Marley trying to figure out how to get the hell out of there, while, of course, a few of them actually want to give up to the Americans because guilt is kind of raining on them since they learned about war crimes, and yeah. Apparently learning about World War II and what happened with Germany, especially with the Holocaust, kind of has put some guilt on a few of them. And made them realize maybe what we're doing is not good. Maybe we're not the good guys.
Hans, are we the baddies?
I've been waiting so damn long to use that clip, you have no idea. And more or less, it's just a setup chapter. We know that the Colossal Titan is coming, and we know the Colossal Titan is going to attack. We know who they are, thanks to, of course, the manga, and its bullshit conclusion, but the big thing about it is just the world building as a whole. The world building is fan-fucking-tastic. We know about Kenny Anchorman. Anchorman, basically Kenny. And we know more about what is happening behind the scenes. And the military is kind of pissed off because of it. As such, they are going to prepare for basically what we have with the Cold War, essentially. Just because we're playing by the rules does not mean we will not have a contingency plan to handle the situation should it go hot. One of those contingencies is having, of course, special operations within the inner wall. Following and digging into the interior police, setting up targets for assassinations, and taking out and removing from the equation, and even possibly other situations. Now, the reporters, of course, is what's coming in, and when the reporters come in, the military police is antsy sons of bitches, ready to arrest them because they believe the cameras and stuff they have are weapons. You know, maybe having an explanation or a briefing for the military police would be good. You know, have them actually explain that the devices they have actually are going to be broadcasting back across the gate and showing what's going on. They're basically reporters, but much more advanced. Again, you know, something of that nature would have been great, because you have some freaking pogues getting trigger happy, even looking for a goddamn fight. And the representative, of course, for the Royal Council is sweating bullets and trying to lie through their teeth as best as possible. Much like a Democrat. You knew I was gonna go there. You fucking knew I was gonna go there with how things are going right now in our world. Now, the cool thing about it is that the 104th is being introduced to, of course, more of our culture, more of our stuff. They even are fascinated by Game Boys. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got a Game Boy SP still, but that's just that. I mean, I even have a PSP, I've even got a few things, but you know what? If you're going to introduce them to gaming, start out slow. N64, Xbox, PS1. Start out slow. Unless you actually want to dump everything on there, then by all means, have a fucking library of all the games we've ever created and all the consoles we've ever had. Like, fucking, you know? I mean, hell. The big thing is if you do LAN parties, just a suggestion for a LAN party game to have them play on. I mean, in terms of a LAN party experience, to be able to get them to have some fun, my two recommendations for really good multiplayer games, World at War and Black Ops. That's just like a LAN party experience. Now, if you really want them to have a cinematic experience, or at least a, you know, a philosophical questioning experience, Mass Effect and BioShock series. You know they both would ask questions, bring questions up, and kind of make them realize, especially the one scene from BioShock.
Stop, would you kindly? Would you kindly? Powerful phrase. Familiar phrase.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find it? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
Sit, would you kindly? Stand, would you kindly? Run! Stop! Turn. A man chooses. A slave obeys. Kill! A man chooses. A slave obeys. Obey!
And finally, for a tactical assessment, have them be able to perfect their tactics, their coordination, be able to handle that sort of thing in terms of tight-knit unit coordinations and cohesion. Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I don't give a fuck if you're going to say Rainbow Six Siege, go to hell, okay? For anyone who ever grew up with an OG 360, this was our shit. This is by far, in my opinion, the best damn tactical shooter of that generation, and one that still holds up today. And one I would personally introduce to the 104th, in terms of giving them the ability to have unit cohesion. But I will leave the rest to you in the comments section to kind of, you know, hammer out what you would actually introduce to the 104th in terms of gaming to kind of help out with unit cohesion, kind of help them expand their minds in the horizon and make them ask philosophical questions. So, of course, the weapons they do get, which they are very much so being more proficient on, besides, of course, the 50 cal anti-material weapon, anti-material rifles, a modified M1 Garand to be able to handle a very much so powerful cartridge, which is meant to just drop a son of a bitch. And even the Modus, the M2 Browning 50 cal machine gun, which is they are being trained on heavily and are being proficient in. Again, very much so good. Very, 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 very good. Now, aside from that, what other little tidbits are going on? Well, aside, of course, from some cadets being caught, they're also, as a reward for being so good, What I meant by a couple cadets, my bad, let me back up a little bit. What I meant by a couple of cadets being caught, I mean the lovers being caught in the bathroom stalls getting jiggy with it. And them telling them, of course, that if you're going to do that, at least use protection, because we do not want any unplanned pregnancies.
Oh my.
Now, for the reward of them being so good at, training, and them actually performing, if not outperforming, even the best damn fire team, they're rewarded with a movie. The movie, of course, being about the Civil War and one of their greatest leaders, which, of course, is Abraham Lincoln. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the movie they used, but if I had my choice again and I was the officer in charge, movies to help them understand better unit cohesion, or at least movies to kind of help them get a better grasp on being better soldiers. The movie I would show them would be... God, no. Sorry about that. The movie I would show them for a good military leader, or at least what a leadership should be, as well as showing that, not all is good, not all is grand, would be, of course, Patton.
Amo, you magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Say what you will about Patton, but the movie does show a very good military leadership. Shows that not everyone is infallible. But Patton is a good example of a movie that you should show to the 104th. I'm dead serious on this. This is a good military movie that should be shown. Not only, of course, for its messages of, having to do what you have to do, all that good jazz. I'll let you sign up in the comment section because, again, Patton's Patton. Now, another movie to show that would actually kind of give them that fighting spirit and give them a lot of cool badass lines, of course, not only show that humanity, even when pushed to the brink of extinction, is a fighting race. We will not go out without a fight. And that, of course, is Starship Troopers.
Excuse me, what?
Now, I know a lot of you are going to be raising some question marks as to why I would show this to the 104th. Simply put, Starship Troopers is a good example of a movie, a satire, that can be used for propaganda purposes if needed to kind of help raise morale. The book itself being good reading, for obvious reasons. But, seriously, I will let you guys argue in the comments section about why this would be good to show to the 104th. I mean, hell, Aaron Yeager would frickin' relate to Johnny Rico. In every sense of the word, he would definitely quote him left and right. Come on, you ape, you wanna live forever! You know damn well he would. Another film to actually show to the 104th, if, you want to get a little bit more and you want them to have some kind of hero, especially for some of them with, like, this daring, dashing, rogue type, Indiana Jones. Fucking wow, I can't believe I still have this. Damn. I'm old. For those of you who don't know what this is called a VHS tape. Man, I'm fucking old. But yeah, no, Indiana Jones be good to actually show to the 104th. For when they actually do get rewards. And would be a nice little chapter to actually have in the spin-off story that is accompanied by this. But, again, just one of those things, Now, as for something else entirely, one that is by far undeniably something to show to the 104th if they really want to be able to have that a hero to try and idolize, try and emulate, someone who has a fighting resolve to do what needs to be done and fight the good fight. Batman. Jesus Christ, I'm old! I can't believe I still have this. Anyway, yeah, no, Tim Burton's Batman, seriously. Those are my choices of movies I'd show to him, just for obvious fucking reasons. Did I ever finish watching this? No, yeah, I did. Man, I gotta rewind this whenever I get the chance to and rewatch it. So aside from that, they are aside from all the politics and stuff, aside from all the craziness, what is happening right now in the story? Well, after they get rewarded, of course, and some of them are not exactly doing very well at how graphic it was, they did learn a lot from the movie that they did watch. And it cuts to the wall, of course. The wall, which is obviously from the scene of Season 1 of Attack on Titan. To be exact, Part 1 of Attack on Titan, which means we're finally getting the story ball rolling. Seriously, where the hell am I getting all this stuff? Like, Jesus Christ. Man, I've got a huge frickin' media collection. If you guys want me to show off my media collection to you, let me know in the comment section down below. Moving on. So, the wall, of course, is being set up by German, and, of course, non-combatant engineers, setting up new cannons, which are pretty powerful sons of bitches. They're essentially more modern-ish cannons that are being bolted down. They're doing their thing. There's a nice little bit of camaraderie in the 104th because, of course, one of them decided to steal the Game Boy. Oh, you do not steal a man's Game Boy. I'll tell you that right fucking now. You do not steal a man's Game Boy. And as they're talking, having fun, Eren, of course, is realizing that they have a chance. That they're going to take the fight to the Titans, and they are going to fucking win this. And then the big bald bastard shows up. That's right, the Colossal Titan, of course, shows up, and that's what ends Chapter 6. Chapter 7, of course, starts off with the attack already happened, and, all hell breaking loose. Well, not really breaking loose. They are still being coordinated. Apache helicopters are Cobras, and Apaches are definitely doing the job, basically laying hell and heat down on 300 plus X-rays and tangos and big bald bastards. And they're doing everything they can to keep the tide back while the defenses are being set up. And a lot of anti-personnel, or at least my bad, armor-piercing ammunition is being sent to the Alamo, which is the final line of defense for the inner wall. Tanks are being rolled to the front lines. 50 cal is sent into the sky with tracer rounds, basically leading Titans into the kill zones, and they are raining hell down the sons of bitches. And right now, the 104th is scrambling to get their line set up. And this is where things start heating up, because we have ourselves a blue-on-blue incident. Or is it?
I don't like where this is going.
Now, of course, this wasn't a blue-on-blue action. In reality, it was a deliberate attempt to try and wound Jaeger, so that way the warriors from Marley could go and grab him and just piss off with him.
Of course!
Now, while this is happening, of course, the defense line, or the Alamo, is holding out as hard as it can, making sure that no Titan son of a bitch can get close. They got tanks, they got MRAPs, they got Humvees, they got Mark 19s, they got artillery, they have TOWs, they have anti-material rifles, they got M250 cals. They got literally everything there, ready, and just unleashing hell on the son of a bitches. But for anyone who's ever watched the anime, you know exactly what's going to happen in this scenario. We know that Eren does get eaten. Kinda disappointed, but oh well, it's part of the story beat, so obviously you had to go with the story beat and let him get eaten. Oh well. And then transforms, as the rescue team is there, along with Mikasa and everyone else, along with the Doctor, who actually discovered the blood anomalies early on in the chapters. And Eren's unintentionally helping them. He helps actually drive the Titans back to a kill zone, essentially, so that way the Air Cav and, well, the Air Force can do its job, and they do. And by God, it is amazing, because he pulls a little number from Hellsing Ultimate Bridge with AC/DC Shoot to Thrill, and dear God, it is so fitting of this. Other little numbers I would have also have approved, of course. You know, some good old-fashioned CCRs are into the jungle. Fucking Metallica! And finally, for the classics, of course, the one that, oh, is so good. Overture 1812. Just saying. Now, of course, everyone's a little gobstopped at what happened, but As this is happening, of course, there is a press conference happening right now, and a lot of questions are being asked, but when Hanji's presentation comes around, the discoveries they make raises a lot of questions and causes the real king to, of course, play his hand a little heavy. It is discovered that these titans are actually man-made. Well, no shit. And it's a beautiful scene, but what happens afterwards, of course, is that Kinney's given a note by Levi. I can only guess to meet him. The king finally comes out and explains everything and is asking whether or not the Americans can hurt them or kill them or destroy their entire civilization. Which, yes, we can, motherfucker, and fucking 20, if not 100 times, if not a few million, billion, trillion times over. And I ain't talking about our nuclear weapons. No, that's just for if we are really wanting to make sure you're dead and we don't want anything to live afterwards. No, and that's the thing, actually. You see, what I gotta love about this is that the king is a paranoid son of a bitch. And I'm not gonna lie, the guy is justifiably paranoid, but at the same time, extremely detrimentally paranoid. Yeah. I'm already going to love the comeuppance that come up to this guy. I can only hope it's his demise is done via high-yield explosives. I can only hope. So the big thing about this is that when that's finally done, Hanji comes in, of course, lets me know that the wall Maria has fallen, or has been breached, my bad, not fallen, has been breached. And it just keeps going. Because now we have ourselves a little bit of a situation here, the aftermath, of course, because they bring the corpse via a M1 tank, of course, they bring the corpse from the area that was saturated, bombed, and just absolutely freaking pancaked by heavy ordnance of all types. And the Titan corpse they bring in is, of course, Eren Yeager's Titan form, because he's a Titan shifter, and the 5 others that are, or correction, 4 others that are there. And the big thing about it is that the corpse starts to evaporate, and they finally find Eren just freaking plop out of the neck, fully fine, great and all, just a little burnt, and that's going to raise a lot of questions, and it is going to definitely make the Americans a little bit more paranoid, at least us a little bit more paranoid about, technically speaking, if we wanted to, we could do the whole, because here's the thing, I've seen the anime, I've watched the anime, and I know the storyline, even though it's fucking nonsensical at the near end of it, and is total bullshit. Makes no goddamn sense. But here's the thing, though. Eren Yeager, if Eren and the others wanted to, and if anyone could, because they are technically facing a medieval society, they could technically, you know, seek political asylum. Just saying, you know, a political asylum. And if Marley does come a knocking, they could just basically plant a nuke on the island, or several nukes on the island, and evacuate everyone over to their side of the world, and just basically be like, ha ha ha, fuck you, bitch. And just make it to where that world is completely covered in a nuclear winter. However, because of the untapped resources and what have you, I can already say now that, no, that ain't gonna happen. There's way too many resources. There's fucking oil over there. We ain't gonna abandon it. Like I said, it's just gonna be so damn good. Anyway, what do I think of these 2 chapters? They're good. It's got great world building. The politics is really interesting and intriguing. The author, Francis...
Looking good, Francis. Well,
has developed the world a lot better than the actual mainline story. And I love it. I really do. It actually does point out a lot of fatal flaws. And if he does continue the way he does in the story, or at least if I continue how I'm doing with 2 chapters a story because of how fucking long the damn things are, then we're definitely going to see a lot of cool development. Now, aside from that, though, I'm not going to try and speculate, because again, technically speaking, there are a few more chapters to digest. So we're definitely going to see how that turns out. Please do not spoil anything for me, because again, I don't want to be spoiled, thank you very much. But, either way though. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been Airsoft Al, and if you have a story and or fanfiction or what have you that you would like me to check out, drop the name of it and the author in the comment section down below. YouTube is censoring links, and I'm not joking on this, YouTube is censoring links to any other site that is not the ones they have approved of. If you guys happen to, well, like what we do, consider donating to our PayPal down below as well. And if you are in the Discord that I'm in, link down below as well, with, of course, Francis. I'm never going to get tired of doing that. Is in there as well. So if you guys want to come hang out with me and the author, or any other author that you may read or check out or like, then do so by clicking that link down below. And that's about it, really. Thank you all for watching. As always, I've been Airsoft Al, and I will see all you lovely people in the next review, which will be a hell of a boss. Actually, not a hell of a boss. Much as I do want to check out the recent edition of an Imp's Guide, or at least the couple chapters of an Imp's Guide to Raising a Boy Wizard, let's check out a military Harry Potter story. One that actually honors the veterans, and actually talks about how just because they're old dogs doesn't mean they still don't have the bite they had when they were young. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't stand there, Gorpin! Like you've never seen your undergut before!